Today's story, Romance in the Moonlight. We have also added this story to our playlist where you can find all our channel stories at one place for your convenience. The coastal town of Mirabel was known for its breathtaking sunsets, the kind that painted the sky in hues of gold and pink, casting a magical glow over the tranquil waters. It was here, amid the rhythmic lull of the waves and the gentle caress of the sea breeze, that Sophia Hart's life was about to change forever. Sophia, a talented yet somewhat reclusive artist, had returned to Mirabel after years away. She had come to escape the bustling city and rekindle her inspiration by the ocean that had once been her sanctuary. Her small, charming cottage was nestled at the edge of a cliff, overlooking the vast expanse of the sea. It was the perfect retreat for an artist seeking solace and creativity. On this particular evening, Sophia sat on the cliffside, her easel set up to capture the sunset's final moments. Her paintbrush danced across the canvas, capturing the fiery colors of the sky and the serene reflection in the water. She was lost in her work, her focus unwavering as the sun dipped closer to the horizon. As the last rays of sunlight shimmered over the ocean, a sudden gust of wind blew through, scattering her sketchbook and brushes across the ground. Frustrated but amused, Sophia stood up and began collecting her scattered supplies. Just as she reached for a particularly elusive paintbrush, a shadow fell over her. "Need some help?" Sophia looked up to see a tall, striking figure standing beside her. He had a warm, earnest smile and eyes that seemed to hold a secret or two. His dark hair was tousled by the wind, and he wore a casual yet sophisticated outfit that suggested he was a man of adventure and charm. "I seem to be in need of it," Sophia said, her voice tinged with a mix of irritation and gratitude. She reached out to shake his hand. "I'm Sophia." "I'm Julian," he replied, taking her hand in his with a firm yet gentle grip. "I couldn't help but notice your beautiful artwork. I'm an admirer of sunsets myself." Sophia felt a flicker of curiosity as she took in his presence. There was something magnetic about Julian, something that made her feel at ease, despite the interruption to her solitude. She gestured to the canvas. "I was trying to capture the sunset, but it seems the wind had other ideas." Julian laughed softly. "The wind has a way of making its own art, doesn't it?" "May I?" Before Sophia could respond, Julian picked up a few brushes and began helping her gather the scattered supplies. Their hands brushed against each other occasionally, sending a small jolt of electricity through Sophia each time. She couldn't ignore the way his touch lingered just a moment longer than necessary. As they worked together, Julian's eyes wandered over her artwork. "You have a remarkable talent. Your work seems to capture not just the scene, but the very essence of it." Sophia blushed slightly at the compliment. "Thank you. I've always felt a special connection to the sea and the sky here. It's as if they speak to me." Julian nodded thoughtfully. "I understand that feeling. There's something about the beauty of nature that can be both inspiring and deeply personal. I'm actually here on a bit of a quest myself, looking for inspiration." Sophia raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "A quest? For what?" "For the perfect story," Julian said, his eyes twinkling with mischief. I'm a writer, and I've heard that Mirabelle holds many secrets. I thought I might find a tale worth telling here. Sophia's curiosity was piqued. Well, you've certainly found a captivating place. Mirabelle has a way of drawing people in and revealing its secrets, if they are willing to listen. The conversation flowed easily between them, and before long, Sophia found herself laughing and sharing stories about the town and her own life. The setting sun cast a golden glow over their faces, and the atmosphere between them felt charged with an unspoken connection. As the sun finally dipped below the horizon, leaving the sky awash in twilight hues, Julian turned to Sophia. I'd love to hear more about Mirabelle and your art. Perhaps we could meet again. Sophia hesitated for a moment, then smiled. I'd like that. There's a lot more to discover in this town, and it's always more enjoyable to share it with someone. Julian's smile widened. Then it's a date. I'll be looking forward to it. With that, Julian offered a charming bow before turning and walking away along the cliff path. Sophia watched him go, a sense of excitement and anticipation stirring within her. The evening had been unexpectedly enchanting, and she couldn't shake the feeling that their meeting was just the beginning of something extraordinary. As she packed up her supplies and headed back to her cottage, Sophia felt a renewed sense of hope and possibility. The sunset had been beautiful, but it was the encounter with Julian that had truly illuminated her evening. Little did she know, this chance meeting would set off a series of events that would intertwine their fates in the most magical of ways. Sophia's heart woke to the soft, golden light of morning filtering through the curtains of her coastal cottage. Her thoughts lingered on the previous evening's encounter with Julian. Their conversation had left her with a sense of anticipation and a touch of excitement that was rare in her otherwise solitary life. As she prepared her breakfast, she decided to take a leisurely stroll through Mirabelle. The quaint town had a charm that never failed to lift her spirits. Her steps led her to the town square, where a small, enchanting cafe called the Seaside Breeze beckoned. The cafe was known for its picturesque setting and its reputation for serving the finest pastries and coffee in town. Sophia entered the cafe, and the warm aroma of freshly brewed coffee and baked goods enveloped her. The interior was cozy and inviting, with soft lighting, comfortable chairs, and large windows that offered a stunning view of the ocean. She made her way to a corner table by the window and sat down, pulling out her sketchbook as she waited for her order. As she was lost in her drawings, the door of the cafe swung open, and Julian walked in. He looked as relaxed as ever, wearing a light jacket and carrying a leather satchel slung over his shoulder. His eyes scanned the room before landing on Sophia. A smile spread across his face as he approached her table. "Good morning, Sophia," Julian greeted with a warm tone. "I didn't expect to see you here." Sophia looked up, slightly surprised but pleased. "Good morning, Julian. I was just enjoying a quiet morning. Feel free to join me." Julian slid into the seat across from her. "Thank you. I was actually planning to come here to work on my writing. This place is perfect for inspiration." The barista arrived with Julian's order, a steaming cup of coffee and a flaky croissant. After she left, Julian turned his attention back to Sophia. "So, tell me, what's new in your world of art?" Sophia smiled, her eyes lighting up. "I've been working on a new piece inspired by the sunset from yesterday. It's been challenging, but rewarding." Julian took a sip of his coffee, looking genuinely interested. "I'd love to see it sometime. There's something magical about how you capture the essence of this place." Sophia felt a flush of warmth at his compliment. "I'd be happy to share it with you. But enough about me. How's the quest for your story going?" Julian chuckled. "It's going well, though I haven't found the story yet. Mirabelle has its secrets, but I'm hoping to uncover a few that will spark something special." As their conversation flowed, Sophia and Julian discovered they had many shared interests and passions. Julian spoke about his travels and the stories he had collected along the way, while Sophia shared anecdotes about her life in Mirabelle and her love for art. Time seemed to fly by as they talked. The cafe began to fill with other patrons, and the soft chatter of conversations blended with the clinking of cups and cutlery. Sophia glanced at the clock and realized how quickly the morning had passed. "I've really enjoyed our conversation," Julian said, his eyes sincere. "It's rare to find someone who understands the magic of a place so deeply." Sophia felt a similar sentiment. "I've enjoyed it as well. It's nice to talk to someone who appreciates the beauty of Mirabelle as much as I do." Julian looked thoughtful for a moment before speaking. "I have an idea. There's a special event happening this weekend, a local festival celebrating the arts and the community. It could be a great opportunity for you to showcase your work and for me to gather more inspiration. Would you be interested in attending?" Sophia's eyes brightened at the suggestion. "That sounds wonderful. I'd love to participate and see what the festival has to offer." Julian smiled, his expression a mix of excitement and anticipation. "Perfect. I'm looking forward to it. I think this weekend might turn out to be quite magical." As they finished their coffee and said their goodbyes, Sophia felt a flutter of excitement. The promise of the festival and the continued connection with Julian brought a new sense of anticipation to her days. Little did she know, the weekend would not only provide inspiration for their passions, but also spark a journey that would intertwine their fates in ways they could hardly imagine. As Sophia left the cafe and walked along the charming streets of Mirabelle, she couldn't help but feel that the town held a new kind of magic, one that was just beginning to unfold. The Festival of Lights was the highlight of Mirabelle's year, a celebration that drew locals and visitors alike to experience the town's vibrant culture and charm. The festival, held annually at the edge of the town's scenic park, was renowned for its enchanting lantern displays, live music, and art exhibitions. This year, it promised to be even more special, with an array of activities that seemed to capture the very essence of Mirabelle's magic. Sophia arrived at the festival early to set up her art booth, which was strategically placed near the center of the park where the lantern displays would soon be lit. She had spent weeks preparing for this moment, creating new pieces inspired by the town's landscapes and the sea. The anticipation and excitement of showcasing her work, coupled with the thought of seeing Julian, made her heart race with both nerves and eagerness. As she arranged her paintings and set up her display, she couldn't help but notice the growing buzz around her. The festival was coming to life, with stalls offering everything from handcrafted jewelry to delicious local delicacies. Children darted around, their laughter mingling with the melodies of live music that filled the air. Julian appeared just as Sophia was adding the final touches to her booth. He looked dashing in a casual yet elegant outfit that suited the festive atmosphere. His eyes lit up as he spotted Sophia, and he made his way over with an eager stride. "Wow, Sophia, your display looks incredible," Julian exclaimed, taking in the array of vibrant paintings that adorned her booth. "You've captured the spirit of Mirabelle perfectly." Sophia beamed at his praise. "Thank you, Julian. I'm really excited to share these with everyone. I hope they convey the same magic that I feel living here." Julian's gaze lingered on one particular painting, a depiction of the festival itself, with lanterns casting a warm glow over the crowd. "This one is stunning. It looks like you've captured the very essence of tonight's celebration." Before Sophia could respond, the first lanterns began to rise into the evening sky, casting their soft, colorful light across the park. The sight was breathtaking, a sea of glowing orbs floating above, creating an atmosphere of wonder and enchantment. "I've been looking forward to this," Julian said, his voice filled with awe. "There's something so mesmerizing about the lanterns. They're like tiny beacons of hope and dreams." Sophia nodded, her eyes following the lanterns as they drifted upward. "They are beautiful. I love how they light up the night and bring people together." As the evening progressed, the festival continued to draw in crowds. The park was alive with energy, from the lively performances on stage to the twinkling lights of the lanterns overhead. Julian and Sophia wandered through the festival together, taking in the sights and sounds. Julian was particularly intrigued by the storytelling tent, where local performers shared tales of Mirabelle's history and legends. Sophia was captivated by the stories, which added a new layer of depth to her understanding of the town. "I didn't realize there were so many fascinating stories about Mirabelle," Julian said, his eyes shining with excitement. "This place is truly magical." Sophia smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "It is. And I'm glad you're experiencing it firsthand." As the night wore on, they returned to Sophia's booth. The crowd had thinned slightly, giving them a moment to relax and enjoy each other's company. Julian took a seat beside Sophia, his gaze fixed on the glowing lanterns in the distance. "I'm really glad we did this," Julian said, his voice soft. "It's been an amazing evening. Your art, the lanterns, the stories, it's all been more than I could have hoped for." Sophia's heart fluttered at his words. "I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's been wonderful having you here. You've added something special to the evening." Julian looked at her, his expression earnest. "You know, I've been thinking. There's something about tonight that feels like the start of something meaningful. Not just for my writing, but for us." Sophia's breath caught in her throat. The sincerity in his eyes and the warmth in his voice made her feel a deep connection. She took a moment to gather her thoughts before responding. "I feel the same way," she admitted. "Tonight has been magical, and I can't help but think that there's something more here. Something that's just beginning to unfold." Julian reached out, gently taking her hand in his. "How about we see where this journey takes us? Together?" Sophia looked at their intertwined hands, feeling a rush of emotion. The night had been full of wonder and possibility, and Julian's presence had made it even more special. She nodded, her eyes meeting his with a hopeful smile. "I'd like that," she said softly. "I'd like that very much." As the festival continued to sparkle with the light of 1,000 lanterns, Sophia and Julian stood together, their hearts open to the magic of the night and the promise of what lay ahead. The evening had brought them closer, and the future seemed to hold endless possibilities. As the days turned into weeks, Sophia and Julian grew closer, their connection deepening with each shared experience and conversation. Their growing bond was like a gentle current, pulling them together in a way that felt both natural and extraordinary. Julian's quest for inspiration was now intertwined with his quest to understand and appreciate the beauty of Mirabelle and Sophia's world. One crisp autumn morning, Julian arrived at Sophia's cottage with a sense of excitement. He had heard about a hidden gem in Mirabelle, a secluded garden that was rumored to be both enchanting and mysterious. After some research and a bit of local persuasion, Julian had managed to secure an invitation to this garden, and he wanted to share it with Sophia. "Good morning, Sophia." Julian greeted, his eyes bright with enthusiasm. "I have a surprise for you." Sophia, curious and intrigued, welcomed him into her cottage. "Good morning, Julian. What's this surprise you've been teasing about?" Julian handed her a small, ornate envelope. "Inside this is an invitation to a special place, a garden that's said to be a hidden paradise. I thought it might be the perfect setting for us to explore together." Sophia's eyes widened as she opened the envelope and read the invitation. "The secret garden. I've heard whispers about it, but I never thought I'd actually get to visit." Julian smiled, his excitement palpable. "I managed to arrange for us to visit today. I thought it would be a wonderful adventure, and a chance for us to experience something truly magical." Sophia felt a thrill of anticipation as she and Julian set out for the garden. They walked through the charming streets of Mirabelle, their conversation flowing effortlessly. Julian led the way, his enthusiasm guiding them to a hidden path that wound through a dense thicket of trees. The path eventually opened up to a wrought iron gate, covered in ivy and adorned with intricate designs. Julian unlocked the gate with a key he had been entrusted with, and as they stepped through, they were greeted by a breathtaking sight. The secret garden was a lush, verdant haven, overflowing with vibrant flowers, winding paths, and serene ponds. The air was fragrant with the scent of blooming roses and jasmine, and the soft hum of bees added to the garden's tranquil ambience. The garden seemed to stretch on endlessly, with hidden corners and secret alcoves waiting to be discovered. Sophia gazed around in awe. "This is incredible, Julian. It's like stepping into a fairy tale. Julian nodded, his gaze equally captivated. I had a feeling you'd appreciate it. There's something so serene and magical about this place. As they wandered through the garden, they came across a secluded gazebo covered in ivy and blooming with delicate flowers. They decided to rest there, taking in the view of the garden's natural beauty. Julian turned to Sophia, his expression thoughtful. I've been thinking a lot about what this garden represents. It feels like a perfect metaphor for our journey, full of hidden wonders and unexpected discoveries. Sophia smiled, her heart touched by his words. I couldn't agree more. It feels like we're uncovering our own hidden wonders, exploring new possibilities together. Julian reached out and gently took Sophia's hand. I've cherished every moment we've spent together, and I feel like there's something truly special between us. Being here, in this magical place, makes me realize how much I value our connection. Sophia's heart fluttered at his touch and the sincerity in his eyes. I feel the same way, Julian. These moments with you have been incredibly meaningful, and I'm grateful for every experience we've shared. They sat together in the gazebo, their hands intertwined, as the sun began to set. The garden was bathed in a golden light, casting a warm glow over the scene. Julian reached into his satchel and pulled out a small sketchbook, opening it to reveal a series of drawings he had made of their adventures together. I've been working on this, Julian said, showing her the sketches. I wanted to capture the essence of our journey and the beauty of Mirabelle. It's been inspired by you and the time we've spent together. Sophia looked at the sketches, her eyes filled with emotion. They are beautiful, Julian. You've managed to capture the magic of our experiences perfectly. Julian smiled, his gaze locked with hers. I'm glad you think so. I've realized that this journey has been more than just a quest for inspiration. It's been about finding something truly special, something I didn't even know I was looking for. Sophia's heart swelled with warmth as she leaned closer to Julian. I feel the same way. This journey has brought us closer and revealed a connection that feels both extraordinary and true. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a soft twilight over the garden, Julian and Sophia sat together in the gazebo. Their hearts intertwined and their future unfolding before them. The secret garden had been more than just a beautiful place. It had been a reflection of their growing bond and the promise of what lay ahead. The weeks since their visit to the secret garden had flown by, each day weaving their lives more intricately together. The enchantment of Mirabelle had worked its magic on Sophia and Julian, strengthening their bond and revealing the depth of their feelings for one another. As the festival season drew to a close, Mirabelle was preparing for its most anticipated event of the year, a starry night celebration known for its spectacular fireworks and heartfelt toasts. This event was the perfect setting for Sophia and Julian to make a lasting memory of their own. On the evening of the celebration, the town square was alive with festivity. Twinkling lights adorned every corner, and the scent of delicious foods wafted through the air. The sky was clear and the first stars began to twinkle as the sun set, casting a magical glow over the scene. Sophia and Julian arrived together, hand in hand, their faces lit up with the excitement of the evening. Julian had planned a special surprise for Sophia. Something he hoped would encapsulate everything they had shared and the future he envisioned for them. "I've been looking forward to tonight," Julian said, his voice filled with anticipation. "I've arranged something special for us. Something I hope you'll find as magical as everything we've experienced together." Sophia's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "You've really outdone yourself this time, Julian. What's the surprise?" Julian guided her to a secluded spot in the park, away from the bustling crowds. They arrived at a small, beautifully decorated terrace overlooking the lake. The terrace was adorned with fairy lights and candles, casting a warm, romantic glow over a table set for two. A bottle of sparkling wine chilled in an ice bucket, and a selection of their favorite pastries and fruits were laid out. "This is incredible," Sophia said, her voice full of wonder. "It's like a dream." Julian smiled, his eyes full of affection. "I wanted to create a special moment for us, to celebrate all that we've shared and to look forward to what lies ahead." They sat down at the table, and Julian poured the sparkling wine, toasting to their journey together. "To new beginnings, and to us." Sophia clinked her glass against his. "To us." As they enjoyed their meal, Julian's expression grew serious. "Sophia, these past few months have been some of the most wonderful of my life. I've discovered so much about myself and the world through our time together. But more than that, I found something I wasn't expecting, a deep connection with you." Sophia's heart skipped a beat. "Julian, I feel the same way. Our time together has been filled with so much magic and joy. I can't imagine my life without you." Julian took a deep breath, his gaze steady on hers. "I've been thinking a lot about the future, about where our journey might lead. And I want to take the next step with you." Sophia's eyes widened as Julian reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. He opened it to reveal a delicate ring with a sparkling gem that seemed to capture the light of the stars above. "Sophia," Julian said softly, "will you marry me?" Sophia's breath caught in her throat as tears of joy filled her eyes. The proposal was more than she could have ever dreamed of, perfectly capturing the love and commitment they shared. "Yes, Julian," she replied, her voice trembling with emotion. "Yes, I'll marry you." Julian slid the ring onto her finger, his touch gentle and tender. They embraced, their hearts beating as one. As they pulled back, the sky erupted in a stunning display of fireworks, the colors reflecting in their eyes and illuminating their faces with a shared joy. The fireworks burst in the sky, creating a dazzling array of lights and colors that seemed to celebrate their love and their future together. The park, filled with the sound of laughter and cheers, became a backdrop to their personal moment of happiness. As the final fireworks faded and the crowd's excitement settled, Julian and Sophia stood together, their arms wrapped around each other. They looked out over the lake, the stars above mirroring the twinkle of their hearts. "I can't wait for all the adventures that lie ahead," Julian said, his voice filled with warmth. "With you by my side, I know that our journey will be nothing short of extraordinary." Sophia leaned into him, feeling a profound sense of contentment and excitement for the future. I feel the same way. Together, we can face anything and create a life full of magic and love. Under the starlit sky, with the echoes of the festival still lingering in the background, Julian and Sophia stood together, their hearts intertwined and their future shining bright with promise. The night was a perfect end to their incredible journey and a beautiful beginning to the next chapter of their lives. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. You are awesome.